normally when I do seminars, I like to start out, you know, kind of like just get to know you guys really quick. I just had bicep surgery, and it's getting better. It's still annoying, like driving me nuts, but it'll be healthy hopefully within the next month and a half-ish, and I'll be good to go. My name is Robert, professional strongman, and I'm decent. I'm getting better. I'm happy with how fast I got it. It took me about 6 months to get my pro card, and 2 months after that I was competing at World's Strongest Man. And the quest to get better is basically where I am at all times. I'm trying to learn and grow. I'm always asking questions. I'm always trying to find new ways that my body reacts to different types of training. And honestly, right now things are different for me. Like I'm doing leg day 3 times a week, and whatever I can do for upper body stuff, I try and find ways to do things. Most of my upper body stuff is just like letting this thing heal. So it's a constant challenge to get better all the time. I just want to go around, like we'll start over here and come this way. I just want like just your name and maybe why you're here, or what kind of training you like to do, just whatever you like to share. So for log, something that most people don't do in log training is separate the 2 parts of the lift. Log is 2 different pieces. Actually, if you really wanted to be analytical, it's a lot of different parts, but there's 2 main parts. There's the clean and the press. So when I train, I always make sure during a training cycle, I separate them. So there'll be a day when I go in and I'll do, like if it's for reps, I'll do like 3 sets of 10 on like 75 percentile of my cleans, and then I'll put it in the rack and I'll do 3 sets of 10 out of the rack, and that would just be the start of the day. So if you separate them and work them, you can find ways to like get little tweaks in your stance or in your press, or where you hold the log, where you're cleaning, that kind of stuff, and it really helps. I don't know why more people don't do it. I kind of took that from American football and brought it over to Strongman, and it's the reason my log is as good as it is because I do it that way. That's another thing I do that most guys don't, like most men and women don't in Strongman, is I incorporate CrossFit. On my cardio days, I love to do EMOMs, and just, for those of you who don't know, it means every minute on the minute. So, like I'll do, like say I'm doing log cleans. I'll do like 3 or 4 log cleans every minute, and so the first set, I'll get them done in 20 seconds, I'll have 40 seconds to rest. But by minute 12, it takes me 45 seconds to do it, and I only have 15 seconds to rest. It's great cardio, and it's efficient training. So when you guys do a log press for 60 seconds in the show in December, at 40 seconds, every single one of you guys is going to be dead. It just happens. We're going to have adrenaline, you're going to be tired, you're going to be working your butt off. At 40 seconds, like it's all guts from there. So if you can find a way to do that in your training, it'll replicate the show, and in the show, when you've got that 40 seconds left, rather than collapsing, you'll be like, no, I'm here, I can do this, you know? So like incorporating CrossFit really helps. I wouldn't do as much like snatch and stuff like that unless you're efficient with it. Like it can help, but like EMOMs and different little wads that you're moving around, like the sports really go well together, even though for some reason we don't get along. I don't know why, but yeah. I like to do eccentric stones. So you put the stone on the platform, and then you take it down slowly. So you take it off the platform, put it on your chest, and slowly lower it down to your lap, and then from lap, you slowly lower it down to the floor. It's a reverse. It teaches your body the position you're actually supposed to be in while you're doing stones, and it makes you do it in a way that you have to be perfect or you're just gonna lose it. So the first time I actually figured out how I was not as efficient as I could be in stones was doing that. I pulled it off the platform, and I was like, oh, like I've been loading it from right here, and then I was like, oh, if I put it on top of the diaphragm, it's like so much easier. And then I went and I did a show in Manchester. I did the whole stone series, all 5 stones, 21 seconds, like 21 seconds. Fastest time I've ever done. And then Z goes and beats me by a second and a half. Yeah. But it was still my best. So if you take that, also take that for deadlift too. It works. You pull normal dead, and then you slowly lower it down. Once you get to the middle of your kneecap, you lower it down slowly. Give it 5 to 7 seconds, and try and perfect form. Keep your butt down, your chest up, and look at yourself in the mirror or whatever. Like if someone's there, make sure the coach is doing it, and just slowly put it back down. I took that from several different guys who are much better deadlifters than me. And I don't know who told me to do that with stones, but we started doing that a little while ago. It works great. Thanks, man. And good luck. Everybody competing, good luck. A lot of guys in Strongman, they don't feel bench press is necessary. And I completely disagree with that. Bench press is huge for your tricep, shoulder stability, everything else. I also like to do military press. I had the American record of, I'm not trying to brag, I'm just telling you, like, I was good, I'm very good at log press, and it's because of that. I had the American record in log press within like 6 months of turning pro, and nobody's touched it in 4 years. Nobody's touched my press, and I've got, right now, in the history of the world, I've the second biggest press in log. And in January, I plan on breaking the world record and having the biggest. So for me, it's worked. Like training, I also use a lot of front deltoid when I bench press. So if you guys are used to training aesthetically, like you train for aesthetics, bodybuilding, that kind of stuff, like visual aesthetics, you normally try and use your chest when you bench press. You open up and you squeeze your chest, right? When I bench, I keep my shoulders and everything back, like I'm pinching my lats, but I press with my front deltoids. I haven't used my front deltoids in 2 months for my arm, and they're still right there. Like I use them for everything. When I do, the only thing I do that can't really incorporate my front deltoids as much is the military press, which I still do, but it's more shoulder because it's straight up. But doing military and bench, it'll up all of your press movements. I have no idea why there's this idea that bench press doesn't help strongman. I think it's ridiculous. Good luck, man. Show you guys my 3rd year at World's Strongest Man. I had a really bad low back injury, and the head trainer at USC was with us, and he was like, look, I'm going to show you how to stretch your hips in a reverse way, so you're actually opening up your low back. And it's saved my career. Like I still get tight, we all get tight, but like my legs were going numb. I had bad low back injury, and after doing this and incorporating it in all my lifts, it's really helped. I can show you guys how to do it with a kettlebell by yourself, but I'm gonna show you guys with a partner right now how to do it. So come here, lay flat on your face down, the knees together. I only have one arm, so it's gonna be a little weird, okay? But what you want to do, the biggest thing, if you're doing this, if you're the person stretching the other person, is keep their knees together. There can be a lot of tension on the knee if you're silly with it. Don't be joking around, don't mess around, it's serious, okay? So don't mess with their knees. So put your knees together as close as you can. You brace their knee. I only have one arm, so I'm going to use my foot, or you can use your knee or whatever. You come down here, this one foot comes up. I can't press really, so you want to keep the other hip on the ground. And like right here, I'm pushing my foot completely against his knee to keep it still. And if you feel anything in your knee, you just let me know. And as long as the knees doesn't hurt, if you have bad knees, it can hurt. You go like this right here. And you just slowly stretch it out. What we're doing is we're opening his hips the other way. When you stretch normally, we all stretch and we open our hips this way. We all do it. Like we do it in almost all of our stretches. We open our hips this way, but we don't ever open our hips the reverse way. So you just keep it here, and you'll go in the middle. You'll come up top, and then you go down low. And I'm not pushing hard. Like he can probably go much further than this. So if I do one full stretch with him, now it's feeling tight right here. Means your low back is really tight. Most of you guys, I'm assuming, can go another foot, hopefully, ish, down. So this means your low back's really tight. And you want to keep the pressure here on the other side and even move it around a little bit, you know? Let them feel comfortable and almost forget that they're stretching. Hold it until he breathes and relaxes. And then you go just a tiny bit further. You want to do that on both sides, okay? Thanks, man. If you're by yourself, this one's a little less effective. But if you're by yourself and you don't have anyone to help you, you want to get, I can't really get on all fours, but you want to get on all fours, and nice and straight, and then you put your leg, your knee where it was, your leg on the outside of the dumbbell, of the kettlebell, and you just stretch back, pushing your hips back and ass out, butt out, okay? So it's forward, right there. Really easy to do. I do it in my house while I'm watching TV. It keeps your low back in a good position. Thanks for letting me do that. I don't like to bag on powerlifting. I think anyone who's working and like coming to the gym and dedicated to being better, like I'm all for it, you know, get people off the couch. But I like strongman opposed to powerlifting because we actually get to run around. We have to do cardio. I'm guaranteeing you, almost everyone in this room doesn't run enough medleys. You don't work your cardio enough to actually be your best. And that's common, you know. Imagine if we were all powerlifters, we'd all look like Eddie Hall. We'd all be just disgusting. So and for me, I think it's like it saved me for sure. Like I didn't know what I was gonna do. I was done playing American football. And I was like, I don't want a 9 to 5. I don't know what I can do. And so I started doing this, and it just came together. So I appreciate this sport very much, just the same as you, man. So your metabolism is super high. Yeah. Mine, even compared to most other strongmen, my metabolism is so slow. Like Eddie, Brian Shaw, Thor, all the big guys you see, look at pictures of them 5 years ago. They all look like half your size even. Like they're much smaller guys. Eddie was a swimmer, Brian and Thor were basketball players. I played football. Right now, I am, as of today, it's like 7. I'm about 10 pounds lighter than I graduated high school. I'm a different body. I'm a completely different person. Me, I have to eat clean. I have to eat small and clean all day long or I'll get way too big. I went up on the Arnold stage when I was eating heavy and I was like almost 460 pounds. So that's 210 kilos, 205, 210 kilos. And I was just too big. It was just way too much. So my nutrition is completely different. If I was you, I would look more like what the other guys do. If you're talking about putting on weight to be it, you're gonna have to eat the house. Like that's just what it is. Like I don't have that problem. Yeah. We've got fit meals in the room, and that's my meals. Like I'm gonna eat clean. I'm probably gonna enjoy myself a little bit on this trip. I was playing football in college. This is personal, but I was on my own and homeless at 16. So like, when I got to college, it was the first time I actually had food available to me. Like, cause I was on scholarship, so they would supply everything. I didn't eat a lot. Like when I first went to Arkansas, I ate a lot, and I gained like 60 pounds during season, while running sprints. In Arkansas, it's hot and humid. It's disgusting. And I would run sprints. I was one of the fastest guys on the line. And then I was still gaining. I put on almost 60 pounds in one season. So after that, that's when I realized like I can't do this. So I cut it down. When I finished school, I was like eating twice a day, but it would be crappy food because I'm a college kid and I was hammered from the night before, you know. So like I was eating like pizza for lunch and then like some Mexican food for dinner, and that's it. Nothing in between. And I was still like big. I was in college. I was like 340, 350. Right now I'm 360, like 362. So like it's just a complete different thing. So, but I know the guys that we could relate to you, and those guys eat all the time. They eat everything. So like Martins, Lisi's, he got 5th place this year, World's Strongest Man. I trained with him for a long time. After every training session, he would drink a half gallon or a gallon almost of chocolate milk. Chocolate milk, I'm telling you, if you want to put on weight, chocolate milk will put weight on you. It will stick to you, I promise. It's not the best. If you're gonna eat like that and you don't want to look like sloppy and you don't want to feel sloppy, you gotta run around like what you're obviously doing. So I would say carbs aren't gonna help you because your metabolism, you're probably what's called an is it endomorph or ectomorph? You're probably ectomorph. Probably. I'm not a doctor. I don't know. You can't sue me if I'm wrong. But you're probably ectomorph, which means carbs aren't going to build on you. What you want is, you want healthy, clean foods, like tons of meat, tons of rice, but what's going to stick to you is fats. Like you get like chocolate milk and like soda, like the crappy stuff that you're not supposed to eat, that will stick to you and put weight on. And it's up to you to make sure that that doesn't turn to fat, it turns to muscle. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Does that answer?
Yeah, that's good.
Pretty. I was expecting him to say he doesn't front squat, because nobody likes the front squat. Front squat will make an athlete out of you. No matter what kind of athletics you're in, front squat will help. I got forced into front squatting early in my career. We had a competition that I was doing, and we had to do 550. What's that in kilos? It's like, you guys know what pounds to kilos? You guys all do kilos, right? 200's 440. So it was, and 300 is 660. So it was like 250, like maybe 260 kilos. 260 kilo front squat for reps at a show on an axle bar. And I was like, oh, I don't think I front squatted in like 8 years. So I had to work it, and then in doing that, I got better at my stones, I got better at my cake carries, I got better at my yoke. My whole core just got stronger. And that's when I realized, like, I need to be doing this. So I front squat more often than I back squat. But for you, as far as a power lifter, then I would say, obviously keep front squatting and back squatting, but hit the high rep stuff. Not a lot of power lifters like to do the reps. My favorite way to finish off squats is, I call Marunde squats. Jesse Marunde passed away maybe a year before I got into the sport. And he used to do, his cardio was 20 rep squats. He used to always like, say squat till you puke. I cut out the F word. I'm not allowed to cuss here. I'm not allowed to cuss, which is really like taking away a lot of what I say. I have a potty mouth. And I have a 2-year-old, so I know I can cuss. All right, he said it. Nobody's gonna make it. All right.
We're not offended.
Okay, nobody is? Okay. So he used to always say, squat till you fucking puke. And that was like my mentality. Sadly, he passed away doing a cardio session. He had a bad heart. He was doing 20 rep squats into tire flips into stone loads, and that was one round. And he did 3 rounds. And on the 3rd round, he went over to grab the tire and he collapsed. But that mentality, if people bring that mentality, it's not just doing 20 reps. It's not just the fact that the blood gets shoved into your legs and it gets healed faster, you get a denser, stronger, happier, healthier muscle. It's not just that. It's that you decided you were gonna do 20 reps, and at 15, you're like, I don't wanna fucking do this, but you did it anyways. That's what makes you better. That's what actually comes from squats and juice. That's the reason why we do it. Thanks, man. Yeah, well, the craziness thing about Strongman is you can find a way to be really good and not be like it's like normal strength. Like you won't be like a normally strong guy, but you know how to work implements. I know plenty of guys, like you guys, Josh Thigpen, he's an American out of Texas, Houston, and he went to Worlds, I want to say like 6 times, and he always did really well. But he's not a good bench presser, he's not a good deadlifter, he's not a good squatter, but he knows how to break down implements and practice them, and he's got that grit. That same thing I'm talking about with the squats. He looks at his events that way. And because of that, like, you don't ever want to go against him, because he'll find a way like to line up against you and make himself beat you. You know, so you can find ways with stretching and tissue, not necessarily massage, but just like digging out the tissue. I mean, it's like, for me, that changed. Like my grip was starting to go because I had such bad scar tissue buildup in my forearms. And just from benching, like bench press mostly did like the scar tissue. And then as soon as I started getting it dug out, like if you go on Amazon for $3, they have what's called a trigger wheel. And it's just a handle and a piece of metal that spins on the top. It looks like some weird sex toy. Does that offend anybody? Anyways, so you can get the trigger wheel. I think it's $3 at Amazon in the US. So maybe it'll cost you 10 bucks. And you just dig it in and you circle around the scar tissue and move around. It changed everything. My hands, like, they feel back to like I was 17. The reason you're getting the tingling and all that stuff down is because you either have scar tissue or a pinch. It's tight. There's something that's making it tight. And to loosen it up, you gotta break it apart. That kind of stuff, you'll feel good. Don't do that and then go train though. Only do it when you're hanging out and you're done training or after you're done training. Don't make the mistake. I had to learn the hard way. You don't want to loosen up and then go like put a heavy squat bar on your back and be like, oh man, you make it 10 times worse. You know, but the stretching and the massage stuff, really, really a big deal. Right, the deadlift for me has been the same thing. Like I told you guys about the eccentric deads. The other thing I took, like I got this from Brian Shaw, and what you do is it's called isometric deads. And I don't know if that's the actual term for it, it's just like the descriptive term. And what I'll do is I'll set up like on a rack, on a squat rack, and I'll have what are those bars called that come all the way across, the spotter arms, whatever, that come all the way across, you can raise them, so you come down and touch them. You put those over the deadlift bar, so to where the bottom of it's either just below your knee or just above. You pull up and hit those spotter arms and it keeps you still, right? And you hold and try and pull as hard as you can for about 7 seconds. And that right there, it has helped me a lot too. Like, so when you're pulling and you get stuck, you try and find the best position possible. So you want to sit your ass down, chest up, you know, perfect form. And you want to try and pull through the iron. It's not going to happen, but you want to try and pull through it. And that will help you with your deadlift as well. That seriously, I saw that from one of Brian's videos. I called him up and I was like, dude, what is this? And he immediately started doing it. Honestly, I could pull more from the floor. I've got a really long torso and normal legs. So I'm 6'8", and most people that are 6'8", their legs come up to like here on them. Like way longer legs. So for me, pulling at 18 puts it like right below my knee, so it's a stiff leg deadlift. So when we compete here in October, everyone else will be pulling and it'll be like just an easy hinge. For me, it's like this. And that's like how I'll be pulling it. So 18, actually, I pull less. But we are who we are, and you don't make excuses, you get better. They're not gonna give me more prize money because I had to pull in the harder way, you know? So it doesn't matter. I just find a way to figure it out and I'll do it. If you want to gain weight, you're going to have to put the bad things in and work hard enough to turn that into muscle rather than fat. So a buddy of mine who's very strong, I think he got 5th place this year at World's Strongest Man, he would drink half a gallon to a gallon of chocolate milk after every workout. Like all the guys, you'll see when we eat, like I don't, because I don't get to, but everyone else drinks like 2 Cokes at every meal and all that kind of stuff. Like, you just put stuff in. You gotta just keep putting stuff in there. You know, just make sure you get enough clean foods that your body's not being like neglected. You don't want to not have clean meats and clean carbs. You want to have your vitamins. You want to have all that kind of stuff. Eat vegetables. Like, Jesus Christ, nobody eats fucking vegetables anymore. It's ridiculous. You gotta eat vegetables. Eat a little bit of fruit. You know, take care of yourself. But then on top of that, add the other stuff. Start drinking. Chocolate milk tastes amazing. Like, it's freaking amazing. I miss chocolate milk. So start drinking all that, you know. When you're done, your post-workout, have your protein, your post-workout stuff, and then drink some chocolate milk. The foods you put in, they're more likely to go where you want them to. So for him, if he gets and does what he needs to do to gain the weight, he's got to put in all that effort on top of the normal effort to make sure that it doesn't go the wrong spots. You know? Yeah. It's like in America, I'm sure you have it here too, we get all these guys that they sit around and drink beer all day, so they'll be skin and bone with a big old belly, you know? So, and you know, it's like if they did anything, if they exercised at all, they'd probably like be nicely like toned, and they wouldn't have to work hard for it. But it all depends on what you do when you're putting those calories in. You know what I mean? It's not really new information. I'm sure you already knew that. There's not really any kind of new tricks to stuff nowadays. I mean, you can look at Stan Efferding's vertical diet, and it's different. It's as different as you could be while still being. It's almost the same, but it's different in like timing and when you put your carbs in and stuff like that. But it's not that different from what everyone's been saying forever. He's got everyone sucking down like 6 whole bisons a day and 12 fucking bags of rice. Moves efficiently. The little 10-minute walks, I'm all about that. And I like Stan, I like his thing. I just, like, for me, I can't do all the carbs because it's not quite my body style.
I don't know if I'm going to like steak in another 2 weeks.
Oh man, paying for all that is insane. Yeah. But also it's nice, like he does pink Himalayan salt on everything, and that's amazing. Like I do that on all my stuff now too. I'm like, you know, I don't work with Stan, I work with Nathan Payton, who he worked with Brian and I. He worked with Brian for like 10 years, Brian Shaw, and then he works with me as well. He does a couple other guys too, but like it's almost all the same. Eat big, eat clean, and then on top of that, eat more. Right? You just gotta keep putting it down. Ask Eddie, when Eddie was gaining weight, he's literally eating food whenever he's not training. Like, he would do like a whole thing of cranberry juice, like he'd do that 3 times a day, like a whole carton of cranberry juice, 3 freaking times a day. He would eat and eat and eat and eat, then train, then rest, and eat, then train, then eat, then train. But it was the hardest part. He'll tell you the hardest part is eating. And that's the thing, is if you want to gain weight and it's hard for you, that's the way it's going to be. But in my opinion, whoever wins World's Strongest Man is the strongest man in history. And it's no disrespect. It's Bill Kazmaier is my favorite strongman of all time. But he's not stronger than any of the guys in the world right now. It's just the way it is. We evolve as people. In football, people get faster. In soccer, they start to move better. Goalies get smarter. Vision gets better. We develop as people. So not taking that into account with your training is ludicrous. If you're gonna do strongman, say you're gonna do the show in December, and you're gonna run with a yoke, you're gonna pick up Atlas stones, and you're gonna do a log press, you want to do that stuff. You don't want the only time you do that to be in a competition. You want to do it. Like Big Z, he only exclusively presses with implements unless he's doing accessory work. His main lifts are all implements every single day. So, and he's, in my opinion, he's the strongest man who ever lived until maybe like a year or two. Whoever wins world will be above that. But you most certainly want to use strongman implements, most certainly. And there's no replicating the way a log feels on your chest when you're about to press it with a bar. That thing right there, when that's sitting on your chest and you're looking up, and the other thing is if you're going to be pressing outside, you want to train outside a couple times too, because looking at the ceiling and looking up and just seeing nothing is a big difference, and it messes a lot of people up in show. I can't tell you how many people I know who have messed up in show because they had nothing to focus on. You want to replicate everything you possibly can. That's why we're spoiled now. That's the reason we got better. We have different training methods. We have a new way of looking at things. Back in the day, they didn't even know what they were going to do. They just showed up and they were like, hey, you know, bend this bar and bite this thing. You know, like it's totally different. Somebody got the joke. They don't bite stuff with strongman. But now we actually know what we're doing. I know every year there's going to be a load medley. We're going to do stones. We're going to have a press. There's going to be some kind of truck pull. Like, I know all that stuff, so I do it. You can't mimic a truck pull anywhere else. Like, you got to actually get down and pull something. So I would say the new way of training is evolved for a reason. It's better. And that's no disrespect. Honestly, the guys before who were doing everything without knowing, that's honestly much tougher, much harder. And they deserve all the praise in the world for it. It's just nowadays we're spoiled. We get to know stuff. You know, you take advantage of it. And did any of you guys see World's Strongest Woman this last couple days? It was just on. It was really cool. They did it Norway, I believe. Was it Norway? Yeah. And it looked awesome. Like they did a Hercules hold with these two huge towers right by a lake. It looked really cool. One of the girls I was training, she didn't compete because she started Strongman too late, but she tested everything, and I saw all the videos for it. It looked really cool, really cool. And I think you guys should think about stuff like that. Everybody, when you get into the sport, like don't keep yourself at a level, don't put yourself in a box that says, I'm only gonna do this. There's no reason why anyone here can't do everything everyone else has done. There's no reason why you and you and you couldn't be at that show. There's no reason. If you believe that you can do something and you actually put the energy forward in that mindset, there's no reason you can't do it. I would say is do well in December and then talk to the woman who runs NAS Strongman, North American Strongman. She does the invites for the Arnold Women's Show and the Arnold Amateur. And I can connect you guys to that. If everybody, I don't answer messages on Facebook because I get too much weird stuff. But if you message me on Instagram, I will look at it and I will try and help you out and I will try and connect you. The show in December, if it's your guys' big show, there's no reason why she shouldn't take 2 or 3 people from each category and send them to the Arnold Classic in Ohio. And that's where you would pick up your momentum to go into Worlds, to go into other shows, to compete in Russia, that kind of stuff. So do well in December. Lift Hercules hold. When the Hercules hold, you're going to go into it and you're going to think it's about your hands. It's not about your hands. It's all about your head. I went in 2015, 2016. One of the years we were in Africa, I had a Hercules hold and I tore my bicep right before it. I had a partial muscle tear in my bicep. My fingers were almost numb completely and they told me I was done with the competition. Then right after the doctor tells me I'm done, the program director walks into the tent and he's like, hey, you're up for Hercules hold, you gonna do it? I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, I'm doing it. And I got up and went out and did it. So it was this arm again. So it was actually why I ended up tearing it, I think, in the first place. So I'm holding and my fingers are going numb and I can't even tell if my hand's closed. But I could feel like it was like somebody was repeatedly stabbing me in my arm and into my shoulder with a hot knife. Over and over and over again while I'm holding. I held it for like 48 seconds. I took first place in that event. It has nothing to do with your hands. It's all mentality. Get in a nice position. You want to have your arm, your knuckles in line with your shoulder. Wherever the cap of your shoulder is, you want your knuckles in line with that. And then sit down. Sit down and take the pain. It's just pain. It's going to be a minute. And then when you let go, you're gonna be fine. If you let go at 20 seconds because you hurt and your pinky was feeling weird, then you're gonna have a whole year until next year that you gotta sit on that and be like, fuck, why did I just let that go? I can't take 40 seconds of ouchies? Like, Jesus Christ, what are you doing the sport for? Anybody can take a little pain. It's gonna be gone, you're not gonna get hurt. My bicep wasn't any worse afterwards and that was excruciating. Just take the pain, that's it. It's a mental thing. You see guys get all crazy and they're like, oh, my grip sucks and I'm not gonna be able to do this. It has nothing to do with grip. You're gonna roll it into your hand and it's gonna stay there until you decide to let it go. When you let it go, then it's gone. That same year, Martins, the guy who I told you about, I don't remember, I used an example earlier, Martins, who got 5th this year. He was in that group and we were training together at that time and his grip was so much better than mine. So much better. I like, honestly, I was always like embarrassed about my grip. Like, I could pick up like 400 farmers and run with them, but you put 200 kilos, no, it's like 180 kilo, but you put another 10, 20 kilos on there, I couldn't even squeeze it to get it up. And it was like, compared to all the other guys that were in the top 10, it was the worst grip there. And so I was always like trying to get it better, and going into that show, I was like, that's gonna be like a last place for me. But I was so pissed off going into it that it took away the fear of the hands, it took away the fear of failing, and that's why I succeeded, because I was like, I'm here for the pain. I came for it. I was so mad, I wanted it to hurt. I wanted it to like take away all the anger, and that's literally what it did. All right, that was a weird way to end it. Anybody got any other questions or anything like that? We're all good? What's up? Just time. The time, and my grip's not like amazing right now. It's just decent enough for strongman. You know, so if I was a power lifter, I'd have to find more and more ways, because we gotta use scraps. You know, I mean, the heaviest we go in farmers is 200 kilos. You know, and it's like, I can do that. It's not like the best in the world, you know, but it's time. It's literally like doing as much as you can. Like all my accessory lifts, I don't use straps. I try not to use straps as long as I can in deadlift. I don't do over under. So as soon as I gotta go over under, I switch and put on straps. But there's not much you can do to speed it up. It's like deadlift, man. Like some people, it just takes them so long to get better at deadlift. Like for me, it's just taking me forever. It's just putting in the work. Preferred recovery methods. The 10-minute walks are a big deal. I like to do cold, hot contrast baths. I hike. That's my thing. Like I'm from a family of gypsies. I lived in the hills my whole life. Like I like to go outside and hike. Do a triangle. Do peak triangles for like 8 weeks. So do your normal session, whatever that is. So you do 5 sets of 3, okay? Do your 5 sets of 3, then do 2 AMRAPs. AMRAPs for people who don't know CrossFit, as many reps as possible. Do 2 AMRAPs at like 40% after all the work. Do that. And shove blood in. You can see the difference in people that hit the high reps and that don't. Like you can just see they have denser muscles, their definition in their bone structure, all that kind of stuff, it adapts to it. And it really heals you faster and it builds strength. So make sure you do that. Get those high reps. It'll help your cardio too. The benefits of it are just, they're insane. I would say, for everybody, I would say check out startingstrongman.com. startingstrongman.com. The guy who runs that is the guy who got me into strongman. He's my best friend for a long, long time. And he was 172, he's your weight class. And he was 2nd in the world 2 years in a row. He's very, very good. And he just learned how to manipulate events. The same way I was talking about Josh Stigman. He learned, like, if I put my hand here rather than here, I can extend it this much higher. Stuff that I don't have to worry about. When I put up a stone, the first stone at Worlds for everybody else is like this. For me, it's right here. So I put it up and it's like that. It's like an easy dunk on a kid's basketball thing, you know? For everybody else, they've got to find a way to like push it off their face and put it up, you know? Like Vitotis Lawless is 5'8", 5'9". And he had to do that. It's different for me. The same with kegs. Like I've got a big barrel chest and not like extremely long arms, but my arms are like 1.5 inches longer than they should be for my height. And so like everything just sits there. I'm spoiled in that. The only thing I had to find better ways to do was deadlift. Because my upper body is so long, I wanted to really like widen my legs like Brian Shaw does and almost snatch grip, and Jerry Pritchett does the same thing. I don't understand how they do it. Like my back is so wrecked when I do it like that. And I had to find ways, I had to work in my flexibility to actually pull the way I'm supposed to, which is more like right here. And if you want to know what your best pulling position is, just take 2 steps and jump as high as you possibly can. Before you jump, look down at your feet. That's how far your feet should be when you're deadlifting. It's that simple. However your best position to jump, that's how your best position to explode and pull deads. So, and other than that, I'd say look into Starting Strongman. They've gone over so much stuff. They've talked about it at length. They've got videos on how to do this and that. If you don't have this implement, how to train it, that kind of stuff. And he's 5'5", and he's 175. And he's learned how to do it very well. You guys, thank you so much for coming out. I had a blast. So hopefully this helped, and good luck in December for those of you who are competing. Thanks, guys.